Hey everybody, Sapi here, giving you an update on the S&P 500. Haven't looked at that in a while for you guys. I do keep track of it, and this week been thinking about and kind of measuring what's going on here, and thinking about the whole thing. But to start out, let's just measure on the weekly chart here these legs that went from the COVID low to where we're currently at, and we'll find something very interesting. The price comes to the 100 fib extension. So you have two rallies, two pushes that measure the same amount. That can be seen as, those match, they complete each other. And that's the end of this kind of move. And what may come next is this kind of COVID crash type of scenario. And maybe that's, to lower interest rates, and they do want to get refinancing of debt. Maybe that is the plan. Maybe that's to turn everybody bearish real quick and then repeat this triangle here. So let's say that that does happen. I'm going to mark off this previous all-time high area. We're at around 47.75, and then draw a trend line from the COVID lows and put them across the 2022 lows. And you can see where this kind of comes down in that vicinity of previous all-time high. And let's measure that leg, that COVID crash leg, in linear scale. See how deep that came. Measure from all-time highs, and that puts you in the box of the 100 to the 1272 fib extension to match that leg. So then I was thinking of, what's going on with the world right now, and how Donald Trump is now president, and this is where he was president before. So what if we're about to chop sideways like that during Donald Trump's presidency? So when Donald Trump first took office, this was essentially his legacy, was this price action. And now he got back into office somewhere around here. He's got a little move up, a little Trump bump. And what if we're going to just repeat this and then triangle out here into the end of his term, and then resume upward? Wouldn't that be a kicker? I'd be surprised if that happens, because as soon as you start to get some momentum down, it's hard to say that this isn't going to really fall off a cliff. But if the patterns match, the patterns match. And if you support a trend line, you support a trend line. And if the cycles fit, the cycles will fit. Something that I do find interesting is if you take the cyclic lines from the COVID drop to the 2022 low, that puts us in kind of a time frame to have a kind of a cyclical low happening right there in time, sometime in May, end of April, beginning of May. Maybe the old adage of sell in May, walk away ends up being a buy in May and walk away instead. Wouldn't that be interesting? But yeah, just an interesting pattern that I'm seeing there is, Donald Trump took office for the first time. Now he's back in office, and we're starting to have a downtrend start here. You do have locally a weekly candle close lower low, so it's only reasonable to expect a lower high to come in and potential push down to previous support, take out these liquidities here. That's something to definitely keep an eye on. So maybe we have a weekly cycle failure, or the cycles can be counted like this instead. I wouldn't venture to say that that's how you're supposed to count cycles. It's just interesting how the timing is lining up for that, and what's happening with Donald Trump taking the presidency here, and the patterns might be repeating. We live in a simulation and we go sideways, for the next 3 years. And then bulls are wrong, bears are wrong, and it's just chop sideways. So interesting findings that I've noticed this week. Um, Not necessarily be bullish or bearish, but reasonable to expect a downtrend here on a weekly. As soon as you have a weekly close lower low, in order to turn this up, you need a weekly candle close higher high to get a higher low and then resumption of the uptrend. But for now, be on guard for a lower high to come in around under 6K on a weekly basis. So yeah, I mean that's a valid short. This grabbed liquidity at the high, took it down, a bounce back up. That would be your sell setup, stop loss at all-time high. See if it does go down there. It's valid as long as you know how to invalidate it. If you do start to get some kind of building of momentum here, and it slowly works its way up there, it might just go and take off. But I'd be on guard with that weekly candle close lower low to get a lower high and push into this maybe sometime in April or May. Get some kind of downtrend, scary bear market, and it's just coming back to back test support on a cyclical basis. Previous all-time high gets tested, it all kind of lines up. So do with that what you will. Just interesting findings. So have a good night. Keep your stops tight.